Allow me now to link up with my colleague Raquel Migai. She's joining us from our city center studio. Raquel, good morning. Good to see you. Talk to me about some of the arguments that were put across by the different legal counsel in the court yesterday.
Linda, yesterday they were presenting the cases, the application for hearing of bail on whether Babu Owino should be granted bail or still be held in custody as the trial of his case begins. Now, some of the arguments that were put across by the prosecution team led by Deputy Director of Public Prosecution, Nicholas Mutuku, was that giving or granting Babu Owino bail will actually will make him a flight risk. Given the argument they stated was that Babu Owino doesn't have an exact place of residence. He has like around 7 places of residence, and they use technology to track him down. And if it were not for that technology, then they wouldn't have been able to track him. But it is an argument that the defense countered, especially Otiende Omolo, stating that carrying out such tracking without a court order is actually illegal and against the Constitution in terms of protecting someone's privacy or invading someone's privacy. And it is for this reason now they also presented another argument in which he will interfere with the witnesses in case he is granted this bail, meaning he will be out of police custody. But according to James Orengo, Senior Counsel James Orengo, he stated that there were no witnesses placed on that specific charge sheet that had written down the charges for Babu Owino. Therefore, what kind of witnesses are going to be interfered with? It was a back and forth kind of argument as they tried to prove that there were witnesses actually included in the charge sheet, but according to the defense, there were no witnesses placed in that particular charge sheet. Another argument that came up was the fact that there could be protests, given that even before Babu Owino was arrested, Linda, there were protests experienced within Githurai, Thika, Kiambu, stating that they want Babu Owino to be arrested because whatever he said on that specific Sunday at a Kawangware rally, at a NASA rally in Kawangware, was demeaning to the president, and it showed disrespect to the president and his family, and therefore they wanted him to be arrested and charged, and so that justice may prevail. But on the other hand, there will be protests just in case Babu Owino gets to be denied this bail, because on that particular Monday when he was arrested and taken to the CID headquarters, what happened was that a group of friends and also some of the lawyers and some of also his colleagues who came there to try and just have a talk with him and find out how he's doing were actually denied entry to the DCI headquarters. But what happened was that there was some sort of confrontation between the police officers there, as well as some of the friends and those that came stating that they're representing Babu Owino. And therefore, it's a 50-50% chance, Linda, on whether this protest will erupt if Babu Owino is granted this bail or not. But what the prosecution maintains, the team led by Nicholas Mutuku, is that this is a very grievous matter, given that he was charged with subversion, that is basically undermining the established order in general, the presidency seat. And what happens is that in case he is found guilty with these charges, he might end up spending 7 years in jail. But on the maximum. But if the court decides to probably pull a minimum on this one, he might end up serving 5 years in jail. On the other alternative count, that is the incitement to violence and offensive conduct conducive to breach of peace, he might end up serving only 6 months. Therefore, it just brings to the total of 7 years and 6 months, or around 5 years and 6 months, if he is found guilty, because the prosecution maintains that this was basically a very grievous, probably accusations that he made against the presidency. And what they said is that it actually demeans the whole seat of presidency and just making disrespectful remarks against the president and his family. Linda.
Raquel, thank you.